Good morning, everybody. This is Toucan Dragon, and welcome back to Digimon Re-Rise. So, I hope you guys have been saving, because the Dynasmon banner is finally here. He isn't meta-changing, but he is a really good calm attacker. And with him, we have the re-release of Brave Alphamon. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with Calm Dynasmon. For Roll Knight, his stats aren't anything too special. His stats are on par with your average Calm Mega. His HP is at 5720, which compared to Managarurumon is the exact same thing, and slightly higher than Ulfor's, which is at 5294. Next, looking at his tech is lower than both Digimon. Dynasmon has a tech at 3520, while Managarurumon has it at 3920, and Ulfor's has it at a high 4309. So it's not looking too good for Dynasmon, since he has a pretty average HP and low tech stat. But looking at his defense makes up for that. He has a pretty good defense at 1583, which is the second highest defense we have for Calm Digimon. The first being Contusoromon, who has a defense stat at 1613. I didn't add him to this comparison because Contusoromon is kind of a pseudo support, while Dynasmon is more a calm attacker. But comparing Dynasmon's defense with Calm Managarurumon, which is at 1339, and Ulforce has it at 1120, Dynasmon clearly has a higher defense stat that allows him to take more hits, which is a good thing because his passive needs him to take more hits, which we'll go over in a little bit. And lastly, going to their speed, Dynasmon's speed is about average for your Calm Mega Digimon. Managarurumon is slightly higher just because he's a different story, and Ulforce is extremely higher because he's a Roll Knight. So moving on to the abilities, Dynasmon is a pretty good attacker. He provides a small enemy block rate debuff, and he buffs himself and his allies. He does 280% damage to 3 enemies, while decreasing enemies' block rate by 20% for 2 turns, and increases his own tech by 40% for 2 turns. The block rate down is not a lot. It is nice and appreciated, but the main thing here is him attacking 3 enemies and buffing his own tech by 40%. Ulforce has something kind of similar to it, except Ulforce is slightly better. Ulforce does 280% damage to 3 enemies and reduces their buffs for a turn, all while increasing his own tech by 50% for 2 turns. So Ulforce has a small edge because he lowers their buffs and increases his tech by 10% more, but Ulforce is a full-on attacker. He's a glass cannon. Now going down to Managarurumon, he does 340% damage to 2 enemies, while doing damage to enemy and shield, which is Gallantmon, and increases his own crit rate by 30%. Now compared to the two, I prefer Dynasmon more, not just for his own tech buff, but he's hitting more enemies, and he's lowering those enemies' block rate. Next, going down to their sub-skill, Dynasmon does 320% damage to 1 single target, while buffing all allies power damage resistant by 30% for 2 turns, which is pretty good because it shows that he's a team player. Unlike Ulforce, who does the same amount of damage to 1 enemy, but he lowers that 1 enemy's defense by 40%. Yes, it's quite a defensive debuff, but it's just to that 1 enemy, while Dynasmon buffs the whole team. And right now, since we're still in that power creep, which we'll slowly kind of gain out from because of the new Digimon coming out, and because we're still there, the power damage resistant up is very nice. Now looking at Managurumon's sub-skill, he does 210% damage to 3 enemies, and lowers their power by 20%. Again, I prefer Dynasmon's sub-skill than his. Yes, minus 20% power is nice, but I'd rather make sure that buff hits all my allies than kind of randomly guessing which enemies he's going to hit with his sub-skill to get that debuff. Now moving on to the passive skills. Now the passives here basically show you what makes these Digimon Roll Knights. Dynasmon's passive kind of reminds me of Tenacious Machinedramon, but with an added effect. So the first part of his passive, he gives himself evade for 2 attacks permanently. So if your enemy doesn't hit him, he's still going to have it. It's not a turn basis, so that's really nice. On top of that, he increases his own counter rate by 70% permanent, and he deals 3 times more damage when he counterattacks, which is permanent. Because of that, it makes him really worthwhile. Because of his high defense stat, combined with the self-evade and the counterattack rate up, with the 3 times more damage when counterattacking, he's going to survive long enough to do some damage with that. And if you give him counter rate plugins, or pair him with Digimon that improve counter rate, like that new red dragon that we got, which I keep forgetting his name, he's going to do really good and do a lot of damage. Now comparing that with All Force's sub-skill, All Force, he decreases tech damage resistant for all enemies by 20% permanently, and of course he attacks first, regardless of speed. Unless your enemy has an All Force 2, and their speed is higher than yours, then they get the priority. And then looking at Magnagurumon's passive skill, he gives all calm allies 20% up counter rate, which is nice and can work with Dynasmon, and he deals 1.35 more damage to brave enemies and targets them first. This is good, but as I said in Magnagurumon's Before You Pull video, he's really situational. Versus Dynasmon, yes, he's kind of situational with his power damage resistant buff, but he has more flexibility than Magnagarumon has, especially with his passive skill. It's not specific to a certain personality like Magnagarumon, or the other calm attackers that we have like Calm War Greymon. With all that said, I think this banner is worth pulling for, but not worth going broke over. He's a really good Digimon to have, and he does have some future proof on him, but he isn't as meta changing as Omegamon was, or All Force was. He's just a really good calm attacker. Now, I don't know when he's coming out, but Impelgemon Paladin mode might be coming out soon. Again, I'm not too sure, but he's meta changing. He's basically Omegamon on steroids, and being a calm Digimon. So I would recommend pulling a little bit on this banner, and if you're free to play like me, maybe pull a little bit in the beginning, wait a little bit, pull towards the middle of the month, and then wait and see what comes out the next half of this month and next month in the news. Because you have time. This banner is here for a whole month, for 30 days. So you have time to be a little bit patient, especially if you're free to play. But just be careful. Don't go broke trying to chase this guy. Yes, he's good, but other Digimon are gonna come. So don't worry. At least that's what I think. He's good, just try not to go broke if you're free to play. Next, let's look at Brave Alphamon. So with him, I'm going to do something a little different. This Alphamon is the same one we have had since New Year's. It's just a re-release. To be honest, when a new Brave Mega comes out, I compare them a lot to Alphamon. And if you look at all my Before You Pull videos that feature Brave Digimon, I'm pretty sure Alphamon is in every one of those videos. So I didn't want to bore you guys with me repeating information that's already out there. The main reason why I compare him a lot is because he's a really good all-around Mega. He has high defense and a high attacking stat, with his only downfall being his speed, but it can easily be fixed with his plugins. To my knowledge, as of right now, you can only get one set of his plugins, which is in the battle shop. If you were here for his first release, you could have gotten his second set through the Ruby shop. Now, I don't know if they're going to bring that back. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't, since this is a re-release, and people already have the second set, like myself. And he has a boost right now in the Battle Park. So with that said, if you're a new player and are strictly free to play, if you decide to pull on this banner, I would stop at Dynasmon. Alphamon is good, but not as good as he once was. Yes, he has amazing stats for Mega, but we have been getting a lot of pretty good Digimon releases, and this current Clash Battle ends in mid-May, so we might get another good Digimon for the end of May. What made Alphamon so good besides its stats is his ability to skill lock enemies. He has a 50% chance to skill lock 3 enemies while buffing his power by 25% permanently, which caps at 75%, but he can only do this when he uses a skill. With the release of Digimon like Black War Greymon and Brave Beelzemon, the game is releasing ways for players to nullify skill lock, thus making Alphamon's utility kinda useless. Right now he's still good, because we only have 2 of those Digimon out currently, but if we follow the pattern they are throwing out, it's gonna be a matter of time until we have more Digimon that can nullify skill lock. You can still use him as an attacker, but there'll be more Digimon that are going to be released who have good utility and are good attackers. Sadly, this Alphamon is losing his future proof. So, talking about this banner while recording, this made me want to do a poll. So here we go, let's see if we can get him in a single poll. Well, a single 10 summon poll. Here we go. Yep. Alright guys, if you decide to do your polls anytime soon, or if you're doing it right now with me, then good luck. And while we're waiting, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please show your support by hitting that like button. And if you're into nerdy content like Digimon and Pokemon, then you should subscribe, and don't forget to press that little bell icon so you can be notified when I post new videos. And are we gonna get anything good before I do the send-off? Nope. I'm tempted to skip, because I don't want this video to be that long. Okay, I'm gonna skip. Here we go. Oh well, nothing good. This has been Toucan Dragon, and if I can, you can too. Bye guys.